Hey everybody, today we are going to learn what an aux is. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Wait, fade it out. Whoa, I'm not talking about that kind of aux. I'm talking about an aux on a mixing console. You know, sometimes you just have to spell it out. Aux is short for auxiliary. Most consoles include at least one, if not multiple, auxiliary channels. There are aux sends and returns. Sends output a signal, returns receive one. But we're only going to be talking about sends in this video. These channels allow you to send a secondary feed of an input channel signal to another destination which is independent of the console's main output. The individual channels on a console run vertically, or up and down. Most channels on a typical console will contain features such as trim, also known as coarse gain, EQ settings for signal frequency manipulation, auxiliary channel sends, routing options, and a fine gain fader. Now that you're looking at the channels vertically, it's important to note that the auxes actually run horizontally. And again, how many you have will vary depending on the console. For example, the Soundcraft EPM6 has 2 aux sends, but the Mackie Onyx 1640 has 6. That's 6 different ways to distribute your console's inputs aside from your program mix. With that said, and going back to the Mix Minus training video, are you starting to catch what I'm throwing out here? Let's dive into a real-world example of how you would implement auxes into your audio setup. Imagine that you have a host and a guest for a call-in program. You want to run all of your sources into the console, such as microphones and phone lines, and that makes sense, right? So that you can monitor everything. But you only want the mics to pass through to the main mix. This is where your auxiliary sends come in. You're going to assign each person an aux, which in essence is giving them their own personal mix, completely separate of the program output. Let's assign the host aux 1, and the guest will get aux 2. This means any channel that we turn aux 1 up on, the host will now hear. And any channel that we turn up aux 2 on, the guest will hear those sources. Now, for this example, we are really going to simplify things. You'll obviously want to have backup sources and contingencies, but this is more about auxiliary functions, so we're going to pretend that we know these sources will remain flawless throughout the program. We're going to trim this down to 2 primary mics and 1 phone line. That's 3 channels. So let's put the host mic on channel 1, the guest mic on channel 2, and the phone line on channel 3. So, we've assigned the host aux 1. What sources will be fed to the host though? Well, the phone line for sure, and if you're in a controlled environment, that might be the extent of it. But if you're in a more challenging audio environment, you might want to give the host just a bit of the guest mic. Just use your best judgment as gain staging will come into play there. For the guest on aux 2, you will do the same as you did for the host, but from the guest perspective. turn aux2 up on the phone line source channel. And if you're in a louder environment, go ahead and give them some of the host mic by turning aux2 up on the host mic channel. Your aux send outputs will be labeled on the mixing console as aux send or aux out. The number of the output corresponds with the aux channel on the console's face. You'll notice that the outputs require a 1/4-inch cable or adapter. Most will accept either a balanced or unbalanced connection, but here's a pro tip. Always strive for a balanced connection. This is a TS adapter. They are generally used for mono, unbalanced signals. They have 2 contact points separated by an insulator ring. The T is for tip, and the S is for sleeve. The audio travels over the tip while the ground uses the sleeve. TRS connections, on the other hand, can be used for mono, balanced signals as well as stereo signals. TRS connections have 3 contact points separated by 2 insulator rings. Just like TS connectors, the tip is an audio signal and the sleeve is ground, but an additional ring conductor, the R, is added. Because balanced connections have 2 conductors, there's twice as much signal. And because of a cool thing called common mode rejection, you can run longer cables without worrying about noise. Well, I hope you found that informative and that you now at least know a little bit more about auxiliary channels and how you can implement them in your audio setup. Anyways, take care everybody, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one.